Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to episode 6 of the Ben and Hoon Show. This is your co-host, Ben M, coming to you from DK.net here in Dallas, Texas. It is April 8th, 2015. And sitting to my left, as always, Mr. Hoon Choi.
Hey, when did we start saying the date?
I don't know. I just thought of it. Try to change it up a little bit.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not.
I don't know. Well, we'll see how it goes. But aren't you going to say hello?
Oh, hello.
Oh, good. Well, speaking of changing things up a bit, right? So every week we carpool to the show, right? And we were thinking like, hey, when we're riding in the car, we're always talking about stuff on the way in the car. And it kind of ruins the stuff to talk about when we get here for the show. Mm-hmm. And we agreed to kind of like have this moment of silence on the way to the show, right?
Yeah, it lasted for about, 2 minutes?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think we made sure not to talk about topics that we would talk about on the show. At least I made a point not to.
Yeah, you made a good effort.
I made a good effort. Mm-hmm. But thank you there, man. I'm feeling kind of tired. We were also talking about being tired. Right? Are you tired too?
Yeah, I'm like physically tired for some reason. I'm not really sure why.
Why?
That's why I said I'm not sure why.
Why? You got to tell me a reason. Busy work schedule.
I went to go work out today, I guess. I played tennis yesterday. Felt really lethargic. This whole juicing thing.
That's probably it.
I'm still doing it. Where I do not eat lunch and I replace it with just juice.
I still think that is so unhealthy.
Honestly, my energy level throughout the day is just going. It's just tanking. Even though I have healthier bowel movements, I'm not sure if you care to know that.
No, not really.
But I do.
Does it help with your tight pants that you're wearing today?
They're a little bit less tight because I have more healthy bowel movements.
The bowel movements help you get more comfortable in your tight pants?
They do.
Hey, everyone out there, Hoon doesn't wash his jeans. So if you ever meet Hoon in person, do not touch his jeans because they're stank. And they've got like crazy bacteria on them. I've got a few jeans in
rotation, but they're called raw denim, Ben.
So why do you not wash your jeans?
You're not supposed to wash the raw denim.
Why?
What happens?
It says on the label, do not wash it.
It actually says, I'm about to take off my pants right now and show you.
Good thing we're not recording this live on the video camera.
I'm going to take off my pants. I'm going to show you here.
No, thank you.
No, but I want to prove to you where it says, do not wash these jeans.
That's the first I've ever heard of someone doing that.
No, but what happens is that it forms around your legs.
It's a sanitary thing.
Nah, dude. Jeans are okay to not wash for a while.
How is that? Okay, so if you like lived in like some country with a crazy hot and humid climate, and you sweated all the time, and you worked outside, would you wash your jeans?
After a while, yeah.
Oh, so even though they're raw denim,
my plan is to probably wash them in about 6 months.
Jean snob. That's disgusting.
Whatever.
Anyways, that's something I still do not understand. Hey, so last week we had Summer and Mike on the show. And, it's Masters Week, so that reminded me of them, too. And big shout out to Summer. I taped it, I DVR'd it, and I was watching some updates. And I think to the end, she fought to the end, but she ended up finishing 5th.
Which is awesome.
In her age class, which is awesome. So big shout out to Summer. Great job. And continue to keep on rocking that golf club.
1, 2, 3 Jinx, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We didn't get her autograph that day. I see her at church, so I can go get her autograph. You're gonna I'll get an autograph and I'll have it personalized for you, and you just have to pay.
Please do.
So what else is going on? I know we've been talking lately too about your strange obsessions lately, and the one I'll call out lately too. There are 2 things of strange obsessions I'll call out. Is lately you've been really into guns.
I have been.
Kind of like my son Andrew. Gun.
Yeah, me and Andrew have been getting along pretty well lately because we've been playing guns lately, and but yeah, I think I'm ready for my first gun.
You're ready for your first gun?
I am.
Done a lot of research?
I've done research. I've asked people. I have a good friend that's a SWAT member up in Albuquerque.
That's right.
Did you realize how dangerous the city Albuquerque is? It's so dangerous that cops always films there because there's always something going on.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of the most dangerous cities in the United States.
You have to ask Jeff Uzueta.
Yeah.
He's from Albuquerque.
That's right,
Jeff, JU.
But yeah, so like he suggested a couple, and I did some research. So the Glock 19 or the Smith & Wesson M&P, I think it's called. I'm not really sure. But he suggested those 2 to me. Said they're pretty good right out of the box. So
what are you going to do with this gun?
You live
in the hood of Carrollton.
Now, like I'll threaten my dog, if he's bad, or like,
Or
I'll make myself feel more masculine by looking in the mirror a few times with the.
So
with
but is
it.
your intent to like go to a shooting range and like?
I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. I really want to first buy it for home protection, but also you
like
never
I said,
know.
you live in Carrollton, home protection, zombie apocalypse.
The zombie apocalypse, it might happen. You don't.
But are you going to get your concealed handgun license too?
I might. I'm thinking about that.
You're
too.
going to be one of those guys that carries in the back of his belt and.
Back of my belt,
or whatever you call it.
I'm Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop.
Exactly. Hey, my cousin John does that. I love. Oh, John, did I just call you out that your secret's out there? But what we were talking about this with guns too. What about an old roommate of yours that would play StarCraft?
Oh yeah, Lamb. Lamb was
have his gun just sitting there.
So Lamb was an interesting character. He would, when I first moved into the apartment with him, with my old roommate, he would there was all these holes on the door. It's from him just throwing knives at the door, just practicing. And it was just an apartment. It wasn't even like his house or anything. And he would buy a gun just so that he can play Counter-Strike and just hold on to it.
It was Counter-Strike. That's
so
right. It was StarCraft.
So he can have a real feel of how a gun feels while he's playing a gun game online.
Yeah, sometimes I'd come over and visit you guys.
crazy.
He'd be playing and I'd see this gun sitting next to him like, hey, everything okay, dude? It's like,
he carried it with him 24/7. He'd be going in the bathroom. I'd see him with the gun in his hand. So,
wow, so you're not going to take it to that extreme.
No,
I wonder if Lamb still does that today. He's a
hopefully not. No, he's a father.
He's a father.
Yeah, so
he's got a son.
not.
He's married. So, you know what? Knowing Lamb, maybe
one thing
so.
about Lamb, I've never seen him drink a drop of water. He only drank Dr. Pepper, just as
Like
you're
what I'm
drinking
drinking right
tonight.
now?
Yeah, but I've never seen it. I lived with him about a year and a half. He never drank a drop of water. First thing in the morning, he woke up. He drank like a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper. When he went to sleep, he drank a 2-liter of Dr. Pepper. I've never seen that, but he looked like he was really thin.
No,
though.
Lamb was ripped. I'm like,
he was like that Bruce
the
Lee.
Dr. Pepper
yeah.
diet. I'm gonna have to ask him after this. Like, does he still drink Dr. Pepper for
Yeah, it was
breakfast, lunch, and
crazy.
dinner?
Crazy.
So another obsession that we've been talking about too is you have this strange obsession with Mexican dance clubs.
I'm so interested.
Why? So like this one over here off of 35
Escapade
2006, 2000.
Like, I
whatever.
mean, it really like.
What intrigues you about him so
the
much?
obsession.
No, you have an unhealthy obsession because we have an opportunity to go hang out in Houston this weekend for our friend's kid's birthday, Nacho, right?
Nacho.
And you're like, hey, what are we gonna do Saturday night? I'm like, maybe go eat some dinner, maybe go watch a movie, Fast 7. We still haven't watched that yet. And like, no, we're gonna go to the Mexican club in Houston. I'm like, and you're like dead set on it.
I'm really interested because I want to go all out. I want to wear those Mexican boots. I want to wear rhinestones in my shirt. I want to wear.
So you're really gonna go out and buy all that stuff?
Yes, I mean, I feel as though I have to live life really by this. This is something that is going to be in my. What's it called? The bucket list?
Your bucket list is to go to a Mexican dance club?
Dressed as a true Mexican.
Really? That's quite the something to have on the bucket list.
Don't judge me on my bucket list.
I
man.
won't. But so, what's your expectation? You go there, you're dressed in your sombrero and your tip top cowboy boots.
Have my gun. and then do some. What do they do? Line dancing?
What do they do? Wow, Hoon, this is turning pretty bad.
This is very racist of me. I apologize.
Yes.
Nacho, please be my friend. But
he's not going to let you stay at his house
I'm not
this
really
weekend.
sure. I mean, I'm not really sure what my expectations are. I'm just expecting to have.
Are you expecting to be have a booking section like they do in Korea?
I'm not sure what that is, Ben.
Oh, well, maybe we'll talk about that later when you quiz me on Korean pop or Korean culture later in the segment. But okay, so that'll be interesting. So I mean, again, those are just some two crazy things that I think you have an unhealthy obsession with lately.
Yeah, I don't think it's unhealthy. I mean, I think it's quite healthy.
No, very unhealthy.
So now off of me.
Off of you?
Yeah, off of me, please. Now I understand you went to watch a celebrity tonight, right? Well, I guess not a celebrity, but a well-known person.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he was a celebrity, and we've talked about Nebraska Furniture Mart before on this show before, but owned by Berkshire Hathaways, which is actually a Warren Buffett company, right? One of the richest men in the world. And tonight they had a benefit at their store, a cancer benefit actually. So it was pretty cool. A lot of cancer survivors, speakers, and they were trying to raise money for some North Texas cancer relief. And Warren Buffett was on stage. That was cool to hear him talk. He's 84 years young, which he said. And but you could definitely tell that a lot of the stuff was scripted, but people were asking him questions. But I don't know. I just still think it's kind of odd. Much props to him, right? He's one of the richest men in the world, but it seems like people are just like bowing down to him because he just has so much money. Which, money's great, right? You can live comfortably and live happy, but I just think people put too much emphasis on money and just him just being such a great person because he has money. Granted, he probably donates a lot of that money too, but maybe because I'm jealous of him having that much money too.
I think so.
It is. But no, it was interesting because people were asking him like questions, and some people were asking him like, in today's global economy, I'm like, oh gosh, really? In today's global economy, what is the best advice you can give to a someone in the stock market?
Questions.
Yeah, in the next 1 to 3 years. And then Warren Buffett's up there going, that's not the way to look at stocks. You can't look at stocks on a short-term basis. You can't get really emotional with things. I guess he was kind of like turning down like the day trading theory. We did that in college. Like everybody did that. Like open an E-Trade account, let's just watch stock go up and down. But he's like, it's really for the long term.
I lost my rent money.
You lost your rent money in the stock market? So definitely not a Warren Buffett trait. But no, it was cool. It was a cool experience. I saw Kathy Ireland.
She was kind of hot back then.
I
thought she was. When you talked about supermodels back in the 90s or 80s?
No, this is like late 80s, early 90s.
So I thought she was in the bottom tier because I thought Cindy Crawford was better. Elle Macpherson was better.
But I thought she's still in the top tier. She's kind of like, she was a Sports Illustrated model.
Claudia Schiffer. You can't say that she was in that same
category.
When
I saw her, like, she's walking by, she was at the event. I'm like, who's this tall lady, older looking lady, very attractive for her age? I'm like, and then someone's like, oh, hey, losing track of her name again.
Kathy
Ireland, sorry. It's late, I'm tired. Shut up, Hoon. Hey, Kathy, come this way. So that was interesting to see. And then we saw some other local television celebrities there as well.
I still remember her from Naked Gun.
Was she in Naked Gun?
She was in Naked Gun.
She was also the kicker in the Necessary Roughness.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Good call on that one.
Yeah. So, with that, we've got again, great show for you guys. Hoon's going to do some quizzing for me today, kind of turning the tables on my recent quizzing of him lately. So we'll do some of that when we get back from this break.
Over 4 months ago, Dallas Korean Network began something that had never been done before, believing in giving the second-generation Asian Americans a platform to voice their thoughts and opinions, while also creating their own entertainment. Next Gen Connections was birthed, and its first show, Fresh Off the Pod, aired in late October 2014. Beginning the first week of March, Next Gen Connections will begin airing 4 shows targeting Asian Americans. Fresh Off the Pod, The Minority League, K-Pop Hour, and Next Gen Talk looks to bring a variety of topics to the Asian American community in the DFW area. DKNet and Next Gen Connections ask for your support as we strive to do something that has never been done before. For more information on shows and Next Gen Connections, go to www.nextgenconnections.org. Thank you for your support.
Yes, absolutely. We continue to ask for your support. And not only this show, support the other shows as well, right? We got the Minority League, we got K-Pop Hour, and we got Fresh Off the Pod. So big shout out to our Next Gen Connections counterparts out there. So, Hoon.
Yes.
I love your prep for this segment. And it's on these scribbled pieces of paper.
I'm still old school like that. I'm not very, I remember when you do it, you put it on your phone or whatever.
That's true.
Me, I still use a pen and paper.
Oh, very old school. Why don't you type it and put it in Braille too?
Oh, I should do that for everybody.
Next time.
Next time I'll do that.
So this segment is called What's Cool? Older. Why are we older? I still struggle with that word.
I was still, because the reason I came up with this was because I was just trying to think, these days, we talked about Instagram. We talked about Instagram. We talkked about Twitter. I'm still not familiar with that.
Wow. You're a hot
still with hashtags, all that kind of stuff. We talked, and then I just learned something new with my research. Snapchat and Vine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's just so much going on with social media these days. And I thought about when we were growing up, right?
Yeah.
It was a beeper. It was a
beeper.
And it was a piece of paper that we maybe passed as a note, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And now it's like,
let me see that note you wrote.
Exactly.
Come to the front of the class and share it with everybody.
And you always made them into like little weird shapes or that little box. You know what I'm talking about? So I was like, man, I'm really out of touch with what's going on. And also, some of our listeners are older, right? What are the younger generation into now? And I found how uncool I was when I was actually trying to think. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to think up of stuff, right?
Okay.
I went to Google and I had to put in what do young people like these days? I felt so uncool when I actually put that in there. I was like, how uncool am I that I'm actually having to Google what's popular? And some of the stuff that came up was kind of funny.
All right.
So do people still say this? Do people still use this YOLO phase? Phrase?
That was probably about
that a year ago?
2 years ago. Saturday Night Live skit with man, I can't believe I know this.
Where did it start from?
I thought, well, I could be wrong, but I thought it came from the Saturday Night Live skit with the guy from Maroon 5, where he was singing on the
Adam Levine?
Lonely Island skit.
I swear it was from like some rapper or somebody said that.
It might have been him and a rapper singing the song. But
okay.
Yes, I do understand that terminology.
So I never used that terminology.
It might have been happening when you were in Korea.
It might be. So, and then I was also thinking about, so what's the trend these days? So can you imagine back in the 80s and 90s that 5Ks?
5Ks?
Like the fun runs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a trend these days, right?
Yep.
So we just got a note, by the way, that Drake started this whole YOLO thing. Thank you.
Not us. Saturday Night Live. See,
where the heck did you get that?
No, but it's even funnier to me because I mentioned Saturday Night Live, and that's something that we grew up with, right?
Yeah.
We always watched Saturday Night Live growing up.
Yeah.
And so that's where I learned it from.
Thank you for the cooler people in the booth over there.
Yes.
Appreciate it there, Daryl.
Drake. Who's Drake?
Yeah, that's why he's on Fresh Off the Pod and he's not on the
Next Gen Talk.
Show. So, okay. I was just thinking, back then, exercise wasn't fun, right? I mean, you don't really go do 5Ks when we were growing up.
Yeah.
College 5Ks weren't the big trend,
No.
the zombie runs, the color runs. I was looking up how many freaking 5Ks there were. There's like a ton of them.
There's like one every day.
There is, seriously. And so I was like, man, I've participated in the zombie run, right? And the mud runs and stuff. Those are fun, don't get me wrong. But it's just, now it's gotten so popular that it's crowded wherever you go.
That's true.
And it makes it not fun because there's so many people.
Yeah.
And you're trying to deal with all that.
And you're right. Like growing up, we never runs.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
there was like the Boston Marathon. That's about it, right?
Yeah.
There was no like real runs.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how that's evolved over the years.
yeah. And then also just like how everything's now video, right? So I was thinking how big GoPro just became.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, GoPro and like just everything, like now everyone videotapes the most mundane things. They're freaking driving down the road. There's a GoPro camera on the side of their car.
Dude, you have a freaking camera in your car too. Why are you calling that out?
That's for people who want to insurance fraud me. I told you that.
So no one hit Hoon's car because he's got a camera.
I've got a camera on my car. So if you try to dare to hit my car on purpose, I got you on video.
No, but GoPro, you're right though. Everything like action shots,
Yeah.
like people surfing, people running out with their dogs.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some great purposes for it. There's some great videos that have come from it. But man, everybody now has a GoPro, and everyone thinks that they're.
I would actually like one.
Hint.
Hint to Esther, my birthday's coming up.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay, and then also, let's see here. Did you know that kids aren't learning how to write cursive anymore in school?
What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I read about that. Like,
No.
I wrote my notes specifically in cursive, so no young person
because
can
I
read
remember
this.
growing up, you had to learn how to write in regular, and then you also had to write in cursive.
Yeah, but they don't teach that in school anymore.
Why?
Yeah, I was reading about that.
Does it have a reason why?
Because no one uses it. They find as though no one's using it.
Really?
Yeah, I find it. I mean, I've always wrote in cursive. I find my cursive is very nice too.
I find myself writing a mix of cursive and regular font. Actually,
yeah, your handwriting is horrible.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, so next, now text is greater than talk.
Text, as in like phone.
Yeah. So back
Okay.
in the day, I mean, we didn't have cell phones.
I don't know about you. I had one of those Motorola bag phones.
Oh my,
Yeah.
Mr. Rich Man.
Exactly.
here.
Richie Rich over here now.
So, but nowadays, kids will text before a call. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I would even say kids and not even adults. Look, Will's texting right now.
Man, look at that. Nice job paying attention there, Will.
I know, right?
Dang.
No, but you're right. Like back in the day, like there was no text. There was beepers. You call
Yep.
it beepers, right?
Yep.
And like beepers, of course, for those of you guys who don't know, there were these little cellular devices that we would carry, and they'd have a phone number, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you call that phone number, there'd be a tone, and you'd have to enter a phone number in, and then that phone number would get sent to your beeper, and so once you get that beep on your beeper, you would see, oh, hey, you'd have to know the phone number because there was no phone book. Right?
And then you'd have to try to find a phone booth.
Yeah, but back then, phone booths were pretty rampant. My issue was trying to find change. Because you had to find quarters and things like that. But then people started getting creative, right? You could write hello with the 07734, and then you read it upside down, it says hello, or like, different little signs and things like that. I mean, that was creative for our generation. But then they even came out with messenger pagers. I remember my friend Ravine was one of the first ones in college that had like a Motorola Messenger time port thing. And that was so cutting edge. But then if you look at it now, it's like, ha ha ha. Right?
I mean, just like those kind of things, it's really changed. And how many times, I think the art of talking on the phone has really completely been decimated with the whole texting.
Yeah.
And social media, right? Next, okay. So I'm going to save one of these for last, but I was just thinking of fashion, right? So I miswrote my notes, and I'll tell you about this later. But drop crotch pants. So,
drop crotch
dude,
pants?
I swear this came up, and I was like, "What is drop crotch pants?" And so I had to look it up. And then, like, I guess Justin Bieber wore these or something, and he made these really popular. So they're these pants that look like you're wearing a diaper, and you use the diaper for what it was for, and so it looks like it dropped the crotch of your pants. So
what the heck is this? I'm like, I'm Googling this right now. These are ridiculous looking.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that came up when I typed in what's cool among the young generation these days.
But I've never seen anyone wear these before in public. Have you?
I have seen one person wear these, and now was
his name Hoon Choi? We look in the mirror.
No, it was actually Jonathan from Minority League.
Really, Jonathan?
I swear I saw him wearing that one time.
Jonathan, were you really wearing drop crotch pants?
I think so.
Wow, that's pretty embarrassing.
I know. So I saw that. I was like, man, back in the day, I mean, if you look how fashion evolved, right? What was popular back in the day when we were growing up? It was like Jabos. Man,
those are coming back,
dude. I could never afford Jabos. It had the little tag on the crotch, right?
We had the fake one.
We had the tag on, and then what was it? Pepe. Do you remember those? The P-E-P-E?
That must have been a San Angelo thing.
Darn it, dude.
But when did you ever own a pair of Jabros?
I never could afford it, so I always wore it was actually only Pepe's that I could afford.
Pepe's?
I guess they were the fake Jabos.
Did you wash them back then?
I did. They weren't raw, so it was okay to wash.
Oh, gross. I still think that's gross.
Yeah. So I'll tell you look what I wrote then by accident on my notes on the drop crotch pants. Right here.
Drop crotch. He wrote drop crotch panties on his piece of paper.
I'm not sure
where is your mind, fool? This is a family show, right? Or it's a family-oriented older generation talk.
Why did I write drop crotch panties on here?
Yes.
Okay. So next I was just thinking about just music in general.
Yeah.
Like when I put in the Google search, all these boy bands showed up, right? Like I think one of the big ones is One Direction now.
One Direction, right?
Yeah. And then I was like, man, these days it's about hip hop's really big these days, and boy bands are pretty. I guess they're not huge, but they're more huge than they were back in our day, right?
Sure.
It was more of the. What are you doing online, Ben?
I'm trying to look at what young people like to do these days.
So you're looking it up as well?
I'm just trying to fact check you, but go on. Sorry.
Okay, no, dude. So I'm pretty sure that they're pretty popular now. The One Direction is.
Okay.
So and I was trying to compare them to kind of what we had back in our day. Well, I guess it was New Kids on the Block.
You really listen to New Kids on the Block?
Dude, did I ever tell you the story about my first cassette tape?
I don't think so.
So my first cassette tape in the 5th grade was New Kids on the Block. And I had to buy it because I had to do a report on a song that I liked.
Okay.
But I didn't have any cassettes. And so the first cassette I ever bought was New Kids on the Block, Hanging Tough.
Oh, that was a good song.
And then, but I had to, one of the report, you had to write down the lyrics of the song.
Okay.
So I picked The Right Stuff. You remember that?
Yeah, you got the right stuff, baby.
And then there's a chorus where it says, oh.
Oh, wow, you're pretty good.
You remember that, right? So I had to write the lyrics. So I misinterpreted that as...
Because you couldn't Google it back then, right?
So what what I did was I had 8 pages of literally 8 pages, no double space of and my teacher was like, "What the hell is this?" It's like literally half a page of actual lyrics and then 8 pages of So I did my first report on Right Stuff.
Right Stuff?
Right Stuff from New Kids on the Block. So they have a special place in my heart.
Cassette tape? Do you have a cassette tape player in your car?
I still have, my Audi used to have it actually.
You did? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because you were going through this list and I'm like looking at, and of course this is the internet and people put whatever they want on the internet, right? And this list of what young people like to do these days, among things are like watch TV, read books, walk my dogs. But the bottom 2 ones are eat and sleep.
So necessities of life.
Necessities of life, eat and sleep. Mm-hmm. Man, when you said cassette tapes, that brought up a good memory too, man. Like I think my first cassette tape was like Beastie Boys.
That's a
Paul
good
Revere.
one, though. See, those are those classic musics, right? From back in the day. I mean, there's always K-pop. I feel still hasn't changed drastically, has it?
No, you're right.
I mean,
yeah.
K-pop has pretty much stayed very similar. I mean, there's a few changes, right?
Sure.
But overall, it's kind of stayed very similar to past generations. But when you talk about what's popular among American right now in America, it used to be more like rock. A little bit alternative was pretty popular back then.
Yeah. It's like early 90s.
Yeah. Now it's more, because it was like what, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Nirvana. Those type of bands were really popular back then. Now it's more of like the hip hop, the I guess boy band, like the Taylor Swift, of one
kind of like country pop
Disney,
crossover.
Yeah. So what's that one girl, Megan Trainor or whatever?
Why are you acting like you don't know who her name is?
I actually like her song. I don't know her name.
You're like trying to play it off to me. Megan Trainor.
Dude, but I don't know how to say her name. I like her song though. And I actually like I actually downloaded I shouldn't have said downloaded the Taylor Swift CD.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
But on iTunes at least. But her album is actually really good.
It is.
Yeah,
I gotta admit that.
I've been working out to it, and it's been very.
It's better than the old,
motivating.
The Jessica Goodbye song you worked out to last week.
Man, that was on repeat for about 1 hour.
Well, speaking of a good workout song, we're gonna go ahead and play this song from one of my favorite bands, Solid, and it's actually upbeat. And Hoon, you should work out to this next week.
Next time.
All right. Who? Do you know what the heck you're doing over there on the soundboard? Mute, unmute.
I unmuted it when you kind of started singing.
I know, right? You ruined a perfectly awesome song from 1996. You're a punk. Anyways, I don't trust you. Maybe we have to give back control to the booth here next week. And before we go to the next segment, all this sound and all this pounding of the tables and stuff like that, I feel bad because Will has to spend hours after the show's over editing and trying to clean up the audio.
Am I really making a lot of noise
You are,
here?
man. It's pretty bad.
I don't think so.
The shuffling of the papers. You're like trying to move around in your tight jeans over there and like you're pounding the freaking desk. Calm down.
Pounding the desk.
You are pounding the desk.
You're over-exaggerating just a little bit.
All right. So next segment, Hoon is, actually, I'll let you introduce this.
Yeah, so I wanted to test Ben. So we're Korean American.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Just kind of
FYI. I knew you were going to say that.
So we're Korean American, and I think we're proud to be both, right? Now, you're proud to be Korean. You're proud to be
absolutely.
American.
Yeah.
But I feel as though that sometimes we lose our knowledge of our Korean part.
Our Korean part?
Yeah, our Korean heritage.
that's true.
Right? Our Korean
Yeah.
background. So, I mean, how easily can you name off the American president?
Barack Obama.
Okay, who's the Korean president?
Kim something.
Completely wrong. But good guess, though. Good guess. How many last names can we go to? Like Kim, Lee, Park.
It's a woman
Chen.
though, right?
It is a woman. Good call
Okay,
on
see,
there.
I know that.
But you see how, in terms of like how the knowledge.
Yeah,
piece,
yeah.
Like, I mean, of course we don't live there, so it's
Sure.
a lot more distant.
And for frame of reference, of course, I was born here. Mm-hmm. The last time I went to Korea was 1988.
Exactly.
So
But the thing
you
is,
got to
though,
give me a little
but
bit
what
of
comes
handicap
first?
there.
Are you American Korean or Korean American?
I'm Korean American.
There you go, buddy.
Yes.
So that's where I want to kind of quiz you on. So how much do you know about Korea?
I'm not very confident with this.
I'm not very confident that you're going to be good at this either. So
All right.
that's what makes this fun, though. Okay, so first question was, who is the president of Korea? Can you name any president of Korea?
Pak.
How did you know that? Did you look it up?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Pak
you're still
something.
looking up what young people like.
I do, right? Yeah. No, but I don't know the Korean president's names, but I do remember there was this one president, I don't know if it was last 10 years ago, but he like committed suicide. Like he was like corrupt and he was a president for a long time. And then like supposedly he was going to go on trial for like some corruption scandal where he embezzled millions of dollars and he went for a jog and supposedly his guards like lost track of him. And the next thing you know, he's on the side. He like jumped over the side of the cliff. I know we should be laughing about that, but
I'm not laughing, Ben.
Suicide in quotes. Anyways.
So the president of Korea right now, and you're absolutely correct, it's a woman.
Yeah.
So it's Park Geun-hye.
Oh, I like how your pronunciation is.
Yeah, I know it's pretty bad, but that is her. So it was actually her. Actually, her grandfather was a dictator of Korea as well.
Really?
Yeah, I visited his old house in Busan when I was over.
Did you have to take your shoes off?
I did not actually.
You like stomped all over his house?
It was actually converted into a restaurant and a hotel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. You learned something today.
Well, so was the Korean president on TV a lot? Like, did you?
She is. She's on TV a lot over there.
Really?
But there's a lot of protests against her because they don't think she. I forgot what the exact thing. There's a few reasons why they don't like her as well. But that's.
Did she throw a fit on the airlines and threw like these aren't macadamia nuts?
Yeah, that wasn't her.
Okay,
that was another pop.
close.
I think. So okay, good. So you did not know that.
No.
Check off as you've got 0 for 1. I'm going to count these actually now.
Count them.
So we've had a lot of major wars here in America.
Okay.
We've had a really big war in Korea, right? The Korean War.
Yep.
Do you know when that was?
1958, 6.
Ben, that is so close. I'm actually very impressed.
Wow.
So it's 1950 to 53.
Yeah. See.
But you got the right decade.
Yeah, I
which
did.
was
The reason
I didn't even think you were gonna get the right decade.
No, the reason is like because I always heard stories from my dad, like, hey, they crossed over from North Korea during the war. It was tough. It was such a hard journey, and it's funny to me because most recently I actually asked them a little bit more about it because I always thought in my head like, oh, they were struggling. They had to go through these rice fields and evade, these soldiers. And so I was like, Appa, how did you come over from North Korea? He's like, we took a train. What? Okay,
So difficult.
No, but he's like, this is before everything was coming. So like, I guess a lot of people knew it was coming and
they
they
kind of ran
give
for the
heads
hills.
up. Yeah, and so they took a train. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So okay, I'll give you half
All
a
right.
point for
No.
that. No, dude, that you didn't say the right.
You
but
at least thought
you gave a good.
I was gonna
you
be way
gave-
off.
No, yeah, I did think you were gonna be way off. So I'm gonna give you half a point. I shouldn't even give you anything because you weren't correct. So this one is a little bit unusual, but how much money do Korean men spend on beauty products a year?
How much money? Does this include like deodorant?
So this just means like BB cream and like
the heck is BB cream?
Like beauty products. It's like a foundation or something like that. I'm not sure myself, but how much money do you think Korean men spend on beauty products every year?
$1,000.
You think that the Korean man in Korea spend $1,000 every year? I mean, as a nation.
Oh, as a nation.
Yes,
I
as a
thought you were like on an
nation.
average. Shoot. Yeah, $100 million.
Not even close.
What is it?
Almost $1 billion.
But when you left Korea, that kind of took away from that group, right? So maybe it fell a little bit less
now
than
it's
a billion.
probably about $1 million now.
Okay.
So
How embarrassing is
Yeah,
that?
so it's 900 million. to be
Beauty
exact.
products. Why do they need beauty products?
You know, in Korea, they're really about
Being feminine?
not being feminine,
gosh,
but
no.
it's about being it's about your outward appearance, right? They're very much like that. I mean, there's a reason why they're the #1 country with plastic surgery.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's all
Do
about
men get plastic surgery there?
who?
Men.
Men, I believe so. A lot of men actually.
Yeah, you had
do.
a lot of work done. I remember when you came back, I was like, dang,
I know.
man, what happened to your nose?
My eyes were a lot more slanted.
They are.
So it was
Yeah.
incredible. But 900 million, and about it's about 20% of men like wear makeup in Korea.
What? Makeup?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like foundation? I gotta put foundation on?
I mean, I'm guessing so, but yeah, 20%.
How embarrassing. Can I change my answer to like, can I be American Korean?
I know.
It's kind of embarrassing.
So, what do you think the most common plastic surgery is in Korea? You should know this.
Yeah, the Sangapur thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
that's a
kudos.
dude,
So you have 1.5
But
points.
that's a layup. That's a layup.
That is a layup.
Yeah, it is pretty
But
good.
I wanted to give you an easy one to kind of. I
Thank
didn't
you.
want to.
Thank you.
No, be too hard on you. So this one's gonna be a little bit tough.
All right.
So you know what in the American flag? What do the stars mean?
So it represents the states.
Okay, stripes.
Yep. The stripes represent the original colonies.
Yes, correct. Now the Korean flag.
Oh crap.
What does the middle mean?
It's yin and yang, isn't it?
Correct. Positive and negative.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the tough part. What do the stripes mean on the corners?
sides. Is it like the elements, like the water?
Ooh, Ben.
Is it sun?
No
wind,
way.
And it's water, sun, wind, and rain. No, because water and rain would be the same thing.
You're getting so close.
water, sun, wind, earth.
Uh-huh.
No,
You did. You got two of them. You got two of them.
I thought all of them.
So it's no. Well, you did say fire. You did say fire in the beginning.
Yes.
So you missed heaven.
Oh,
So
yes.
it's heaven, fire, water, and earth.
Well, I can't believe I didn't
No,
know
that was
that.
pretty good though.
Wow.
I was really impressed. That's
My mom,
very
my
impressive.
Oma and Appa will be very proud.
You raised him right. Okay, dude, you're at 2.5 points, more than I thought you would have. That's pretty impressive. So, I'm gonna let you guess this, and if you get within 5, I'll give it to you. Okay.
All right.
How many times do you think the average Korean eats ramen
Like in a week, a
in
day?
a year?
How many times?
I'll give you a hint. So Korea is the #1 nation that eats the most amount of ramen.
340 times.
So you think they eat it once a day at least?
Yes.
They think they.
If you average everybody together, why not?
But if you average everyone together, that means that some people are eating like 3 times. Dude, 340. That's really your answer.
147.
Completely wrong.
What is it?
It's 74.1.
Really? That's still a lot.
That's a lot, right?
I went high.
74,
I thought.
but if you think about the average Korean eats ramen 74 times a year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even eat that much ramen right now.
Really? I
Although
eat a
I'd
lot
love
of
to
ramen.
more. But Esther's always like, it's so unhealthy.
Is it shin ramen or noguri? Which one is it?
Nobody.
I agree with the egg.
Yes, with the egg. And then you throw some kimchi in there.
But they
you
don't
throw
put
some spam.
that little block of seaweed in there anymore. Have you
They
noticed
don't?
that? No.
Oh, man. Must be some seaweed embargo.
No, that's changed a long time ago.
Really?
Yeah. Remember that little block of seaweed they would put in there?
I could have
That was really
swore it's
chewy?
still in there.
No, it's not in there anymore.
Ramyun's so good. Let's go get some ramyun after this.
You know, like remember when I worked at Samsung, they had this. I posted a picture on Facebook. They took their ramen really seriously. They actually have an assembly line, it looks like a like a car assembly line that makes ramen.
Really?
So each station like burns the water, then a little bit of soup drops in, and then it goes to another station where it mixes the noodles, and then goes to another section where it puts in the green onions.
That's
it's
either a
insane.
sign of super efficiency or laziness.
I know, but it was insane.
Yeah.
Delicious though, but it was quite insane. All right. So I want you to name the top 5 Korean companies.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be in order.
Okay.
Actually, it will give you bonus points. I'll give you 5 bonus points if you can name them in order. But I'll give you.
I'll tell you right now, I can't name in order. Okay, so let's go.
Okay, go for it.
Samsung.
Correct.
Pains me to say that. Hyundai.
Oh, correct. You're in order so far, Ben.
All right.
There's
SK Telecom.
no.
LG.
Surprisingly, no.
Really?
I'm talking about top 5. So
Daewoo. Does Daewoo still exist?
I believe they do, but I don't think they're not doing cars or anything like that.
What about Lotte?
Lotte is not in that. They're in the top, but they're not in the top 5.
Okay. What about Kim Jong-un Incorporated?
Kim Jong-un Incorporated is number 3.
I have no idea. You
Okay.
tell me the rest.
So number 1, correct, Samsung. They make a big portion.
They make
of it.
everything.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part. When you go to Korea, it's not people know them by their electronics here, right?
Yeah.
They know their electronics.
But the
they know their
toilets are
phones.
Samsung.
But over there, they make one of the heavy industry. They make all the buildings.
Oh, yeah.
They have life insurance.
Isn't there a car too?
Yeah, they used to have a car, but then they had to get rid of the company because of the whole during the whole depression part, and they sold that piece off.
They didn't get sued because they copied Apple's car design or something?
No, they did
Oh, wait,
not.
Apple doesn't have a car. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So they own everything. They have their own credit card, banks, now appliances. I mean, they have their heavy industries. It's buildings, hospitals. They own literally everything. And then number 2 is Hyundai.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And number 3 is POSCO.
the heck is POSCO?
They're an iron and steel company.
Sounds like a Korean version of Costco.
Yeah, I know POSCO.
It's not Costco?
POSCO.
Okay.
So I didn't hear about them, but they're number 3. Number 4 is Shinhan. So it's like an investment company. It's like a
Okay.
bank. They have a bank there too. So it's and number 5 is Kia.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Forgot
So
about Kia.
yeah, and then LG Electronics is actually pretty far down there.
Really?
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, I thought they would be a lot bigger, but like when you go to like Korea, like LG, Hyundai, Samsung, they own everything. I
Yeah.
mean, their name is on. You can't look around and not see their name.
Lucky Gold Star.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the original name.
Yeah.
So, how'd I do?
We're still going. We got one more question, my friend.
Oh,
Okay. Well, we might not have enough time, but real quick, when is Korean Independence Day?
Chuseok. Oh, crap. I know it's during the school year because we used to celebrate. It is in October.
Chuseok is not. There's not
September.
Chuseok. There's not Chuseok. There's Korean Independence Day. Like
Oh, crap. I don't know.
This is Independence like our July 4th.
Chuseok is Thanksgiving. That's right.
Like Chuseok. What are you talking about?
I have no idea.
It is August 15th when we were liberated from the Japanese.
Good to know. Good
Just-
celebration.
All right. Cool.
All right, Hoon. Well, thanks very much. Appreciate the time there, and I think I did okay.
Okay. We'll come back with the results after the break.
Okay. All right.
All right, buddy.
Over 4 months ago, Dallas Korean Network began something that had never been done before, believing in giving the second generation Asian Americans a platform to voice their thoughts and opinions, while also creating their own entertainment. Next Gen Connections was birthed, and its first show, Fresh Off the Pod, aired in late October 2014. Beginning the first week of March, Next Gen Connections will begin airing 4 shows targeting Asian Americans. Fresh Off the Pod, The Minority League, K-Pop Hour, and Next Gen Talk looks to bring a variety of topics to the Asian American community in the DFW area. DKNet and Next Gen Connections ask for your support as we strive to do something that has never been done before. For more information on shows and Next Gen Connections, go to www.nextgenconnections.org. Thank you for your support.
All right. So, Hoon, I did better than expected, right?
So you made a 38 out of 100. So I mean, let's just say you're.
No, when you first told me about this, I was like, man, I'm probably going to score 0. So I think that's.
But it's learning though. You learned a lot, right?
yeah. Great on the curve, Made a C?
At 38, though. At 38, the C for you?
No,
Okay.
but like that reminds me in college, like we had this organic chemistry teacher who like a 35 was a C in his class. That's how tough his class was. So your Korean quiz was equivalent to an organic chemistry test.
It was a lot of memorization.
It was. All right. So in this next segment, hey, spring has just arrived, and we're finally shaking off this winter. It's kind of longer than expected. In fact, we had snow like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was wearing jackets about a week ago too, so it kind of feels weird. But now we're kind of in the mix of a really good spring. We're in the 80s, still getting a little remnants of rain. But summertime is coming. One of the most exciting times of the year, and I know you always remind me too every year, summer solstice. What's the big thing about the summer solstice?
Do I even have to tell you? It's the first day of summer and the longest day of the year.
And
it's also my birthday.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so speaking of that, in summertime, I'm looking forward to a couple things. Again, not only the weather is changing, opportunity to hit the beach. We're potentially going to go down to Galveston to go down to a friend's beach house and hang out there this summer. But also, maybe not too deep into summer before it gets too hot is camping. I love camping, don't you?
Camping is a lot of fun.
So I think the last time we went camping was October?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We did.
Yeah, that was at Possum Kingdom Lake, which, man, for anyone who hasn't been out there, that's a pretty nice lake. Although the water level is really, really low.
It was.
In years past. And avoid those feral hogs blocking your way going and getting out of the park at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's right. I almost hit a few of them.
Yep. But, I mean, what do you like about camping?
The number one thing I like about camping is s'mores. I've
S'mores.
always liked that. I've always loved eating s'mores because the whole experience of like putting it's quintessential like camping, right? When you think about camping, you think about the campfire, but you also think about putting the marshmallow on the stick and making s'mores. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, but before you make a s'more, what's really key to make a s'more?
I think I know where you're going with this. I think you're thinking about a fire.
A fire, right? And you would think, hey, it's simple to start a campfire, right? Mm-hmm. And one time we went camping, and there was probably a big group of us that time, about 15 or so of us.
Yep.
And we were trying to create this huge bonfire, and for some reason that night, we couldn't get the fire started, right? And your ingenious method of lighting the campfire, what did you use to light this campfire?
It was gasoline.
Gasoline from where?
Where did we get the gas? The boat, I think.
Yeah. You got the gasoline from the boat, and then how much did you pour on that wood?
Let's just say it was too much.
And as I saw you pouring that gasoline onto that wood, I was like, dude, this is, it'll work, but I think it's going to cause some pain here. And you were like, oh, no, it should be fine, right? What happened?
Well, no, I didn't realize this is the camping stories that you wanted to talk about. So, I think, so it was a silly mistake where I did not judge the amount of gasoline you're supposed to put in. And I stood over the campfire. And then
Why did you stand over it, not like away from it and throw a match in?
It was after a few bottles of the
Conquistador tequila.
So I threw the match in when I was standing over the fire.
Yep.
And it exploded around me.
I remember like being a mushroom cloud, like an atomic bomb went off.
It pretty much, all I saw was white. And like all my, like
you couldn't hear for a little bit, right?
My ears like completely popped, and I couldn't hear anything. All my eyelashes were curled, and all my hair was all curly, and half of it was gone in the back of my neck. So yeah, it was actually a lot more painful than I thought it would. I mean, not thought it would. I mean, I guess it is. You think it's going to be painful, but it was really painful because it hurt my ears because the pressure was so different. And
if my memory serves me right, like. It still didn't light the fire because
it didn't. It just made a big poof.
It made a big explosion.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And we had to still find another way to light the fire. But the other reason I brought up that camping trip specifically too is, we talked about the cheap Conquistador tequila. I mean, generally when you get tequila, it's in a nice glass bottle, and this thing was in like a plastic jug, basically, right? You bought the cheapest thing you could find.
This was in college, man. The best drink is whatever is the cheapest drink.
Sure.
And that you can get the most
Everclear.
of. So most of our liquor came in plastic jugs. The ones that came in a gallon, a jug, right?
Yeah.
Conquista this time around, I knew there was going to be a good amount of people, and I knew I had to get tequila for Nacho. You know how it
was
is.
hot that night too.
So,
it was like over 100 degrees in the nighttime.
And so I got the biggest jug of Conquistador tequila that I could find. It was about a gallon, and it was about $12. So I bought a $12 gallon of tequila.
Disgusting.
And you,
Nacho, and Chris actually were the last ones that stayed up.
So we
night,
drank.
right?
We drank it pretty much all night, and it was not the best experience the next morning, especially for Nacho.
And he always blames me for this, but I swear to God that I did zip up the tent correctly. So what happened was Nacho, he handles his liquor very well. I'm not a big drinker, so I can't talk a big game here. But Nacho, he can handle his stuff, and he had a little bit of that too much of that cheap Conquistador tequila. We're like advertising to Conquistador. I don't even know if they still make that stuff. If they did, Nacho would have nightmares. But I remember picking him up. He passed out on the chair. We picked him up and we put him in the tent. And Nacho has a really nice tent. And I remember vividly zipping it up. And in the morning, we woke up. Everyone's like, struggling out of their tents. And Nacho wakes up and he's like, oh, he gets up and like he's scratching his shirt. And we're like, what happened, man? He's like, dude, I guess in the middle of the night he had thrown up on himself and ants got in his tent and they were eating the throw off his shirt and belly. And he blamed me because I didn't zip the bottom of the tent.
You're the only sober one around us, though, Ben.
Probably was.
You're probably the one to blame. I tried sleeping on the boat because I couldn't find a place to sleep at the time, and I was so drunk, and like I passed out, and I was just covered in mosquitoes.
Well, I don't know. I guess I've never been drunk to that point, but how can you be drunk and throw up on yourself and just go back to sleep?
Oh, that's very easy.
It's very easy to do.
That's very easy. And Nacho did that quite a bit back in college, especially when I was his roommate. We've had quite a bit of stories. So
of Nacho
you
just throw up on yourself and be like, I'm too drunk. I can't get it. Let me just smell and just sleep.
What do you want to do when you're that drunk? If you're drunk enough to throw up all of yourself?
This is coming from a man who doesn't wash his dang jeans every 6 months.
I need those sick fades, dude.
6 fades of jeans?
Sick fades. So they fade around your legs, my friend.
I'm looking at your jeans and they like emit this
touch them
smell. I'm not going to touch your jeans.
I'm going to take off these pants and show you the do not wash sign here.
Did you get those pants from Korea?
No, I did not. I got these ordered, specially made for me.
Gosh, jean snob here. The other thing I like about camping too is you mentioned the s'mores, right? But also the food, like just cooking the food and just hanging out there, and just the camaraderie of it, and it's just like back to nature.
Yep. And my next one of the things on my bucket list, I want to bury a goat in a campfire. And
bury a goat in a campfire. Can you explain how this will happen?
So what you do, I've talked about this with Nacho already, where we want to. So what you do is you kill a goat or a pig.
He's making this killing sign.
I'm slashing my throat.
No, it sounds like you're playing violin.
But what you do is you kill a goat or a pig, and then you do whatever you need to do, clean them out or whatever, and then you bury them inside the fire. Underneath the fire.
I don't think you're doing this right.
That's something that I just looked up real quick, and I'm very interested in doing that.
So the first step is, sorry to correct you here. You got to dig a hole.
Of course, that's.
You're not putting the pig on top of the fire.
Obviously not.
How is that? Obviously, people don't know what you're talking about. So the concept of this is like the underneath ground cooking is what you're talking about, right? And I agree. I've seen it done before in Hawaii, but I want to do it ourselves. That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
We were actually going to do it this weekend, but for that party in Houston, but apparently it's going to get rained out.
I don't think I could kill a goat or a pig, though. I think...
What if it came down to it and said, like, hey, for us to eat this food at this campfire, this party, you got to kill the goat?
Like, if it wasn't for life or death, I'm not very confident that I can actually kill a goat.
But if it's on your bucket list, like you just said.
It is. It's on my bucket list to eat it. It's not on my bucket list to kill a goat or a pig.
Oh, gosh. But, I mean, that would be fun, right? We dig the hole, we burn a fire, let it burn all the way down so you got the coals and ashes, and then you put the goat on there with the seasoning, and then you let it cook for like 12 hours.
Yep.
Right? So that's something I want to do. But unfortunately, we can't do that this weekend coming up, even though we wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be going to Houston, and we're going to have a party indoors because of the weather.
And I'm going to go to Escapade.
You are not going to go to Escapade.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully, Hoon survives. Well, I guess that's the end of the show. Thanks, Hoon, for your prep.
Oh, you're very welcome, my
Pounding
friend.
your fists on the table again.
Dude, I did not pound my fist on the table.
Shuffling the
When did
papers
I do
loudly.
that?
Now Will's going to be here till like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to edit this. And then your smelly jeans sitting next to me, too. It's pretty
My jeans
disgusting.
smell wonderful.
So, thank you guys very much for listening this week. And we'll leave you guys with another oldie but goodie from Park Jin-young, 너의 뒤에서. Talk to you next week.
너를 바라보며 웃어 이미 이별을 예감할 수가 있었어 너에게 너무 모자라 나란 걸 알고 있기 때문에 지금 떠나는 널 나는 잡을 수 없는 거야 넌 이제 떠나지만 너의 뒤에 서 있을 거야 조금은 멀리 떨어져서 조금도 부담스럽지 않게 이제 떠나는 길에 힘들고 지쳐 쓰러질 때 조금 더 기다리지 않고 나에게 안기어질 수 있게 너의 뒤에서 언젠가 또다시 내가 필요할지도 몰라 나의 사랑이 나의 손길이 또다시 표정 없는 아픔의 나를 너는 많이도 미워하겠지 돌아선 나의 눈가에 고인 눈물을 할까 넌 이제 떠나지만 너의 뒤에 서 있을 거야 조금은 멀리 떨어져서 조금도 부담스럽지 않게 이제 떠나는 길에 힘들고 지쳐 쓰러질 때 조금도 기다리지 않고 나에게 안기어 쉴 수 있게 너의 뒤에서